The three short clips that you are about to see are from a project called Why They Left. This footage deals with refugees from South Sudan, the so-called lost boys and girls. Why They Left began as an exploration of why the Jews living in Ukraine came to America in the latter half of the 19th century and the first 2 decades of the 20th century, prior to the Holocaust. The interviews with the refugees from South Sudan grew out of a realization on my part that the experiences of the South Sudanese refugees were not unlike the experiences of the Jews from Eastern Europe almost a century earlier. The South Sudanese refugees went through their own pogroms and followed a similar path to the United States. As children, they lived through something that most Americans cannot even imagine.
There was no food. We were just running out of the villages. Anything that you can eat on the way, you don't have to recognize it as a food. Anything that you can eat to survive, that's what we went through to eat. So some people gave up eating anything that they can't recognize. They didn't make it to Ethiopia. Some people were tired walking. So the shoes or the foot was swallowed and the wounds and things like that, you just leave them behind. There's no way that you can take them. There was no Medicaid, so you get sick from all this bad food that you're eating, you died. You get sick from malaria, you died. Some areas where you have to walk 2 or 3 days without water. So if you misuse your water, you died. And some people couldn't walk because it was too much walk. They get tired of walking every day, uncountable mile, so they couldn't make it. So 1/3 of our population didn't make it because we walk at night, we walk daytime, and it became a chance for wild animals to hunt people. Mostly that's what they live on, so especially lion and other wild animals that survive on human. So they just take whoever closer to them when people are walking at night to survive with. You can't do anything. There's no protection. There was no guns, nothing to protect your brother or your friend from attack from lion. So you don't run anywhere. You just stay online until your time comes. And that was the scariest thing that I can remember. And we keep walking. So the days went by, and things were getting worse. Thank God, those who made it to Ethiopia.
We couldn't attend school the few years that we went to Northern Sudan, to find out that the reason we couldn't attend school because we were from the South and we were black. And the school system didn't want to accept us. My mother tried a couple times, and they have many reasons. The classes are full, you came late. Then there are some non-profit organizations that opening a school they call us refugee in our own country. The Khartoum is the capital, and it's all Sudan, but they call us refugee. They opened a school for refugee, and that's where my mother put us. Among the people that really haunted me, it was our neighbor. They were good people. I mean, the way they treated us, they were good people until we start to learn the other side. When our landlord moved in and we shared the house, and later on, they have a little girl from South Sudan. And they said that the girl was badly treated. She had to sleep in the cage with chicken, where they put their own chicken. I believe at the time maybe she was around 9 or 10 years old. The landlord had his own daughter, was almost around the same age, but the little girl had to take order from the other little girl. She had to wake up early in the morning and do all the cleanings. And she came a few times to my mother crying, and a lot of times she would be beating up, and we heard that. Our hands was very tight. My mom felt that her hand was tight. This is our landlord. When things got to extent that the government of Khartoum started arresting people, including young girls from the South, my father felt that our life was in danger. And because a lot of time when you get arrested and you're a young girl from the South, you're most likely to get raped in jail by the policemen, which are the northern. So my father decided that we're gonna leave the country and go to Egypt. So while I was in Egypt, I lost my mother. I got the news that my mother passed away.
Some Sudanese community that arrived earlier than us, and so we were given a place to stay. We were given like a ration, like amount of food that we receive each week. We're given like a building materials to build our own huts, and a school were opened. Because in Itang I was told that because I had my teeth, so I was still young and I couldn't allow to go to school. But in Kenya I was allowed to go to school. I started my first grade there. I had this like desire inside me that I want to go to school. Education was like something that I really dreamt and something that I really want to achieve in my lifetime. So in Kenya, I was able to go to school. I love it. And one thing that actually, when I was a little, the word oxygen was such a hard word to pronounce, but it was also hard to spell. I heard like someone saying oxygen, and I just asked, what's ox? And then the guy spelled to me, and I had to write it down on the ground every time because we didn't have enough books. So you just on the sand, you make it flat, look even, and then write it down like oxygen. I had to write down oxygen. I don't know what gave me that curiosity, but the word oxygen seemed to be somehow, or X have some meaning. I don't know. I have some kind of like felt it meant something. No one know meaning. No one ever like told me the meaning of oxygen. I didn't know that was the air that we breathe in. But the word by itself just have this power that inspired me that education was really a good thing, because you have to learn different words.
Now I'm doing a project called Village Help for South Sudan. I'm trying to help to build a school in South Sudan, in my village. They never had a chance to have a school built in it. The closest school is 2 hours of walk, day back and forth. So that's about 4 hours of walking a day for a 5 or 6 years old kid with no bike, no any other means of transportation. So I think it's a time to help them. If I had a chance to get my education here, I have to help them. So I'm doing fundraising now for Theo Village, that's the name of the school, to be able to have a school by next year.